towels for every room. So trendy, sophisticated, stunning, yet cool. Simply unique. Towels for floors to walls and everything in between. Make your best home anything but ordinary. At Home and Things.
Welcome, hello, and welcome to the Morning Watch on Gov 101 FM. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you are overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you are in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us live on Love 101 FM YouTube and Facebook Live in the main watch. The tragedy of Jungle Justice. And in the second watch, what's new with 5G? Our Facebook question we asked, what are your thoughts on Jungle Justice? Share your responses on our Facebook or YouTube, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, or WhatsApp comment and voice notes to 876-997-3125. We'll share your responses later on in the program. But first, here's our quote.
This morning's I quote, fairy tales are more than true, not because they tell us that dragons exist, but because they tell us that dragons can be beaten. Neil Gaiman.
This is an interesting one this morning. By the way, good morning, Siobhan is there. Siobhan, I think I'll leave this one alone. We want to try?
No, I'm leaving it as well.
The main watch will be back after this break.
Have some issues and concerns in your community that you wish could be attended to now? Want a platform to voice those concerns? This could be the place for you. Send your 30-second voice notes describing your issue to 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. Be sure to type a voice for hope before sending the voice note. Then listen on Tuesday at 9:45 a.m. for a voice for hope. Share the concerns you have seen. You know that street light that has not been working for a long time, or your community has not had water for 2 weeks now? Yes, here's somewhere you can share. And maybe, just maybe, we can get some love on your situation. Remember now, send a 30-second voice note describing your issue and type a voice for hope before sending your voice note to 876-997-3125. A voice for hope. It's a problem, and we need a solution now. Love 101 FM, the family station, bringing a voice to your situation.
I am Elaine Thompson here, and I work hard to deliver winning performance just like Flow. Working hard to deliver fiber fast performance in your home and savings on your phone.
Elevate your home internet with Flow Fiber Fast technology, and you can unlock 50% savings off your mobile plan every month. Simply join your mobile with your home internet. No deposit, no contract, and a predictable mobile bill. Get winning performance that saves. Visit discoverflow.co or your nearest Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Mommy, when am I going back to school?
When enough people get vaccinated, everyone can go back to school.
You got vaccinated?
Yes, love. And guess what you got? A Sagicor Bank Star Savers account.
Parents, send us a copy of your vaccination card and we'll open a Sagicor Bank Star Savers account for your child, valued at $5,000. And 3 lucky Star Savers will win a learning corner, plus 3 cash prizes of $150,000.
Thanks, Mommy and Sagicor Bank.
Vaccine win. Visit sagicor.com to learn more. Valid until October 29. Conditions apply.
Make I tell you about short-term motor insurance from JNGI. You choose what you need, 30, 60, 90 days policy. No long commitment, full third party. Don't park your car, don't walk, get a shotty. So affordable and it's not per nation market. JNGI shotty. Country party, we have a shotty. Just insure your vehicle and start it. Roll out with a shotty. Shotty, the short-term motor insurance from JN General Insurance. Available only online.
Welcome back to Morning Watch. I am Stokely Marshall. We are in the main watch or the first watch. Now, we don't agree with this. However, we do know that oftentimes passion gets the better of citizens, and unfortunately, it can lead at times to jungle justice. Now, what really is this thing called jungle justice, and what happens if it is directed or misdirected at the person who was not the intended person to receive the bitter end of this jungle justice? Who benefits from jungle justice? Who does it hurt the most? Is it really a solution? Well, I will declare my hand from now it doesn't. How do we stop it from happening? We have online to discuss this today two very important persons. We have Dr. Gillian Mason. She is a community psychologist. We also have online SSP Stephanie Lindsay, no stranger to Jamaica, to the listeners of this program. She's the head of the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Corporate Communications Unit. Good day, SSP Lindsay, and good day, Dr. Mason. Do we have them online?
Good morning.
Dr. Mason online. Yes, Dr.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes, I'm here. Morning, everybody. Morning, Superintendent.
Well, I hope we have SSP Lindsay online. I'm not sure if we have her on yet, but we'll start with you,
Okay.
Dr. Mason. Now, this is a particularly troubling topic because even if it is directed supposedly at the correct person, it is wrong.
Exactly.
Dr. Mason, what exactly is jungle justice? Can you give us a working definition? Please, start us start.
Okay. All right. Yes. Always a good place to start. Yes. First of all, I agree with you. Jungle justice is not the way to go. So, jungle justice comes from the idea of what we call herd mentality. So it is the idea that when persons are in a group and something has happened, and so the members of the group feel that they have been wronged. But instead of relying on the justice system, they take matters into their hands. And in a nutshell, they are, what do you call it, judge, jury, and executioner. And so they execute what they perceive to be person who has committed whichever crime they believe has occurred. So in a nutshell, that is what jungle justice is. So the idea of jungle, of course, is that it is something that is uncontrolled. When you think of the jungle, we think of things out in the wild. Well, here we're talking about normal citizens. And of course, the word justice really should be in quotation marks because it is really not justice. It is actually an injustice, both to the person who gets directly harmed, as well as to the society, because we do not, as a society, receive justice by persons engaging in those behaviors.
You know, Dr. Mason, there is a well-known case recently right here on the island of Jamaica, and I'll read a little bit of the news report as reported in Loop News. And it's dated October 21, 2021. The headline, Cops Identify Man Killed in St. Thomas Mob Attack. I won't read all of it, just a little bit of it. The police are trying to find the members of the mob that killed a man on Wednesday morning in Landui, St. Thomas. The man, who has been identified as Levi Chambers, was mistakenly identified as the suspect in the abduction of two girls in that parish. The man, a resident of South Haven in Yallis, St. Thomas, reportedly suffered from a mental illness and had inadvertently wandered into the community when he was attacked. Residents reportedly saw him walking along the Landau Women Road, stopped him and accosted him in a threatening manner. Police sources said reports that Chambers ran and was chased. He ran into bushes and across the Yalas River, where he was pursued by the angry mob. Eventually, they held him and administered their brand of jungle justice, stabbing him several times in the abdomen. And there's another sentence. I think we have the gist of it. Dr. Mason, as has been shown, it turned out that he definitely was not the person that was to have allegedly committed the wrongs that they were angry about. Any comments on that, Dr. Mason?
Right. So there we see jungle justice even in a more kind of bizarre manner, because truth be told, even if he were the person who was believed to have committed the crimes, it still would have been an injustice both to him as well, again, as I said, to the society in large. And to make matters worse, here we have, I'll call him an innocent man, meaning he's innocent of what they were accosting him for, who has lost his life in horrifying manner. I mean, you can just imagine or try to imagine what it must have felt like for him, you know, literally running for his life from these group of people who he doesn't know, you know. And I mean, this is something that we do see in these, oftentimes in these instances of jungle justice, that the person who is attacked is somebody who is what we call from the out group. They don't belong to the community. And so they're, again, it's not, you know, we can't say it enough. It's not the way to go. And though we realize that in terms of society's role, that part of the issue that people will claim why they may not trust the justice system, maybe it takes too long in their opinion, there are not enough convictions, or, you know, but that again is not the way to handle any further down in terms of being a supportive and modern and an effective society. So it's really not an option, or should not be an option.
You know, we're almost upon a break, yes. Dr. Mason. However, what I'd like you to begin to do even before the break is outline to the listeners the kind of mindset of members of the group, the crowd.
Okay.
What are some of the things that would be going through their mind? I'm not defending what they're doing, but what are some of the emotions? What are some of the thoughts? What are some of the things that they're thinking about, which could drive them into this activity, Dr. Mason? What are some of those things?
Right. So it's interesting to use the word thinking, because one of the things that really happens, and it's what we call a group dynamic. We tend to, instead of taking on our individual identity, we tend to take on this kind of group part of our group.
Losing you, Dr. Mason. Well, anyway, I think we're hearing you. Continue.
Okay. Yes, I was just saying that people lose their individual identity and instead take on this group identity. And so there's this cohesiveness that occurs. And if the group has been or deems themselves to have been wronged, right? So using this example, we know what had happened in St. Thomas. And so, I mean, the whole of Jamaica, but in particular, persons in that community had been wronged twice, you know, and so they kind of get defensive, like you're into this protective mode, and you're not thinking for yourself so much, right? This is, as I said, this kind of group thing occurs.
Hold that thought, Dr. Mason.
Yes.
We are now upon the break, so hold that thought. We'll be right back at the morning watch. Stay with us.
Imagine styles of tiles for every room. So trendy, sophisticated, stunning, yet cool. Simply unique. Tiles for floors to walls and everything in between. Make your best home anything but ordinary. At home and things.
I am Elaine Thompson here, and I work hard to deliver winning performance just like Flow. Working hard to deliver fiber-fast performance in your home and savings on your phone.
Elevate your home internet with Flow FiberFast technology, and you can unlock 50% savings off your mobile plan every month. Simply join your mobile with your home internet. No deposit, no contract, and a predictable mobile bill. Get winning performance that saves. Visit discoverflow.co or your nearest Flow store to sign up today. Conditions
Between 2015 and 2020, there were 74,455 reports of child abuse in Jamaica. Report child abuse. Call 211.
The time brought to you by Child Protection Services is
7:16.
Flow wants to hear from you.
It's the Answers and Simplicity store-wide sale. Up to 70% off in every store from now till Saturday, October 30. Get up to 70% off Answers Gifts and Home Center, Simplicity, and Answers for Children. Answers and Simplicity store-wide sale.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on J&B Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jnbank.com to get pre-approved today. J&B Bank will help you find a way.
Boy, them healthcare worker are some real superhero, you know. No wonder how me can never repay them for them service.
Use the BIP Messenger app for salute to healthcare workers. You could win instant prizes from Digicel, like bill discount and more data.
Here's how you can enter. Download the BIP app. Go to the Discover section and search for the Healthcare Hero channel. Follow the channel and select Nominate. Upload a photo or video of the healthcare worker you admire the most and support their nomination by voting for them every day between October 26th and November 5th. Let's salute our healthcare heroes. Download BIP today.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. We are in the main watch, and the topic is the tragedy of jungle justice. And our guest for this segment, Dr. Gillian Mason, community psychologist, and SSP Stephanie Lindsay, head of the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Corporate Communications Unit. I gather we now have SSP Lindsay online. Good morning, SSP Lindsay.
Hi, good morning.
Great having you on. Thought we had lost you there. We unfortunately we didn't have you on initially when we started the program. Thanks for joining us now. But however, just before we bring you in, SSP Lindsay, Dr. Mason, I just wanted to make sure you had finished your point before we move on to SSP Lindsay.
Yeah, so the gist of it, in terms of, as I said, persons become part of the group, they kind of lose their individual identity.
They kind of, yes. So a sort of herd mentality takes over.
A kind of herd mentality takes over, and people feel anonymous when they're in this group, which kind of encourage them to behave in ways that they may not normally behave, because it's no longer me, it's, you know, I'm part of this group. So this is really a lot of what happens in those.
Is there a sort of leader or dominant person in the group that others follow? Everyone sort of, yes.
Right. That can happen. It doesn't necessarily have to happen, and this is why it's kind of so interesting when there's no clear leader, but it's just that everybody kind of thinking along the way, and it just kind of adds up to this, you know, like if you think of like a snowball, it just kind of picks up and it gets bigger and bigger. So there doesn't have to be a leader, but of course, if there is somebody who is dominant and kind of takes over, then it's even more likely that something untoward can happen. The person can then lead them in a negative manner.
Understood. SSP Lindsay.
Hi, good morning.
Now, how often are you, as a member of the police force, confronted in your communications unit with reports of jungle justice in Jamaica? If you can give that number.
All right. So there is not really a set pattern, but from time to time we will see things happening. I mean, we see the mob killings, and of course, similar to what was explained by doctors, that people tend to want to do their own jungle justice, or they call it poetic justice. Most time we classify it as mob killing, which is actually murder. And they do it because, for one, there's a thinking that because somebody from the community is hurting or is aggrieved, or a number of persons in the community are impacted by a particular action, then if they kill that person, then there will be a general acceptance that the right thing was done. And we have seen quite often where persons are of the view that if they kill somebody as part of a mob, the likelihood of them being held accountable, even being arrested and going to court, is minimized, because usually people don't come forward and give any report as to who commits the crime. We have also seen where, because of the advent of cameras and cell phones and so on, we are able to charge more people, because when we get the footage and we analyze it, we see persons actually committing breaches that we hold accountable. But from time to time, we see, sometimes we have had on more than one occasion where the person that they kill, and quite similar to what happened in St. Thomas recently, is not the person that's responsible for the crime, the initial crime. So it is something that we really try to impress upon our citizens, that they should not try to take the law into their own hands, because invariably what they're doing is that they are breaking the law. They're taking somebody else's life.
SSP Lindsay, in relation to the recent incident in Landui St. Thomas, where the gentleman, Mr. Levi Chambers, was really murdered by whomever it is, or whomever it was in the crowd. Have you had any breakthrough in any investigation as to who caused his demise, his murder?
The last update I got from the investigators in St. Thomas, they were not able to identify a particular individual. I know that there were some persons that they spoke with. I don't know if at this point they have made any significant breakthrough to the point that they can clearly identify a person or persons that are responsible.
Are you hopeful, SSP Lindsay, because you just said a couple sentences back, right here in this interview, that persons often don't want to come to court to be witnesses? Are you hopeful?
Well, we are hopeful because in the end, the person that was killed is somebody's relative. It was somebody's son. It happened to be someone who is said to be not fully in their right. He had some mental issues. So clearly, there's also some sympathy that goes out to the family in a case like that. So we're hoping that he gets his justice as well.
Well, it does indicate from the Loop News news report that I read, it did say he had a mental illness. We don't know how true that is, but we're going off what the report says, and you have in fact indicated that he had mental issues, so we accept that unless it is otherwise shown. Now, back to you, Dr. Mason. When someone is going through such a harrowing experience, I don't know if maybe in your research you have unearthed what are some of the thoughts going through the mind of the victim, because some of them may have survived, what are some of the thoughts going through the mind of the victim who is, for example, being chased? This is a situation where Mr. Chambers reportedly was, he ran into bushes and across the Yalas River, where he was pursued by the angry mob. What are some of the thoughts that would be running through the mind of this victim, Dr. Mason? Any victim?
Research, but just kind of thinking about it and having heard an account from somebody recently who had survived an instance of jungle justice. It's a mixture of things. Of course, fear is one of them. When you realize that, this thing is real, there is for some, I can imagine there is a disbelief because they're like, what is going on? This does not make sense. Especially if you are, in a sense of what they, if you happen to hear what it is that they're accusing you of and it is not you, then there's a disbelief and you're like, no, this can't go. But if, for instance, we think about our culture and where there is a history of this jungle justice occurring, then you kind of realize, no, this, you have heard of this happening to other people and oh my God, it is happening to me now. So of course, fear is going to be a big one. And the word surreal comes to mind because it's like, I can't be going through this, this cannot be happening, because so I imagine that is some of what persons would go through. And, when I think of the gentleman last week, 2 weeks ago, and, when he finally realized, he's trying to escape. And when he realizes that there really is nowhere else to go, I just cannot even imagine the horrors that he must have been feeling that, this is it. This is how I'm going to die.
It's really a lynching, isn't it, Dr. May? It's really
it is a form of lynching in terms of the idea, again, of this group kind of attacking somebody and bestowing these kind of violent behaviors against them.
But I'm going to turn here now to SSP Lindsay. SSP Lindsay, I know that you are a little bit late coming onto the program, and we do regret that. However, I'm not defending the lynching, but the truth is that the justice system is slow. And, you're asking citizens not to engage in this behavior. But at the end of the day, many persons, there's a saying in the Bible, justice delayed is justice denied. And many persons think that there are too many delays in the justice system. Any comments, SSP Lindsay?
Well, we agree that the system is slower than a lot of persons would expect it to be. We have seen improvement over time, but notwithstanding, even though it's taking a while, it's not a justification to go out and to kill somebody. So I know that all around there are efforts being made to improve the system, and sometimes the delay in the whole process, sometimes it's not with the authorities, sometimes even the individuals themselves. There are a lot of matters that even the victims and the witnesses. So it's a process that really needs revamping, and I know that it's happening right now. But I still want to say to persons to be patient. I think there is this revenge culture that we have to really look at. We see it in the instances of mob killing. We see it in the instances of reprisal, the violence. So apart from the fact that the system is slow, I think there's this culture of violence that's really plaguing us as a society that we really have to step back and to see how do we reduce the violence. Because in the end, you find out at these scenes, these mob killing scenes, there are persons who call themselves as law enforcement persons, as law-abiding citizens, and they are righteous and they are sanctimonious, but yet still they stay on the sideline and they cheer on the perpetrators. To me, they are equally responsible. So I want to see a reduction in violence among our people, and I think if we start doing that, some of the mob killings that we see, some of the violence that we see will be significantly reduced.
We're totally out of time. I have to leave it there this morning. We have to leave it there. Dr. Gillian Mason, SSB Stephanie Lindsay. So much more than we could say, because even some police officers, unfortunately, they do engage in their own form of jungle justice, SSB Lindsay. So it is reported, not saying that it is widespread, SSB Lindsay. But there's so much more we could talk about. I want to thank both of you for being with us this morning. Thank you for your time and for your thoughts. The Morning Watch will continue after this break.
This is Love 101, the family station. Thank you so much. And let me apologize for the break in transmission a few moments ago. And we thank you for sticking and staying with us right here on The Sound of Love.
101.7
Now with no processing fees and no down payment, it's time to open the door to your own sweet home. The time by JN Bank is
7:31.
Since the start of the year, there have been 600 reports of emotional abuse, 1,203 reports of sexual abuse, 1,465 reports of physical abuse, 2,528 reports of neglect.
Report child abuse. Call 211.
More than half of us agree it takes too much time to understand the Nutrition Facts Panel, but we can quickly understand that 80% of deaths in Jamaica are caused by non-communicable diseases. Without knowing, we consume excess foods high in sugar, fats, and sodium, which can lead to obesity, type 2 diabetes, and hypertension. Especially now, we need warning labels on the front of our food packages to easily identify unhealthy foods. We support front of package warning labels. We're on the side of health. Join us. Give us octagonal, high in front of package warning labels. A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
On The Rock, Tuesday, October 26th at 10 a.m., we're talking about cults. And what is a religious sect? Join host Pastor Harold Steve Blair and guests Apostle Mary Wildish and Reverend Richard Beckford. That's The Rock. Solid, objective, substantial. Tuesday, October 26th at 10 a.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. Let's take a look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. We have here among the latest news in the Jamaica Observer. CPFSA provides counseling for children, parents in Bath, St. Thomas. And we now turn to Loop News Jamaica, or Loop Jamaican News. We have here among the popular news, well, there's reference to the now late Kevin Smith, refers to him being among 2 persons dead following St. Catherine crash. There is reference to another story here as well. Cop who died in crash that also claimed the life of the pastor, identified in that news headline there. He's described as pastor. We also have here an interesting one here, video featuring Kevin Smith at police station now being probed. Those and many other stories in our daily newspapers. We did attempt to look at the Jamaica Gleaner online, and for some reason that relevant page would not load on the devices using, and it appears as if for some reason there was a delay. we hope that we don't know what the reason is for the delay, so I will not ascribe fault. However, we did attempt to try to download the Gleaner online, and we were having challenges. So we looked at Loop News as well as, of course, the Observer. Coming up next, we'll retweet some of the feedback from our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp question, which is, what are your thoughts on jungle justice? If you haven't done so yet, leave a comment on our Facebook or YouTube, Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, or WhatsApp comments and voice notes to 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
Hey, Campusites, it's time for us to do another mental health checkup. But this time, we're going to talk to those who you talk to, your guidance counselor. Tune in this Tuesday, October 26th at 5:30 p.m. inside Campus Connection as we take a look at behavior patterns in students due to COVID. That's Campus Connection this Tuesday, October 26th at 5:30 p.m. as we connect with a few guidance counselors. It'll be right here on the family station, Love 101.
Sit down and listen, I've nothing to lose.
When everything is unpredictable, you go for what you can trust. That's why investors turn to blue chip companies. Jamaica, like the rest of the world, is caught between two possibilities: economic success or struggle. Many blue chip companies have a record of strong financial performance. Investing in these companies gives investors sound value and supports businesses which play a role in sustaining economic balance.
Visit barita.com/opportunities for more Growth Coach insights.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. Shivani, do we have any comments in relation to our feedback question? What are your thoughts on jungle justice or not?
Well, Ophelia Clayton says, I don't like the jungle justice because they are killing off people who don't have anything to do with anything, and they need to stop it. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, more on that. We invite and welcome the comments and the voice notes, etc. Well, on September 23rd, OUR hosted a regional media workshop on 5G technologies to Chingueira. It was to provide a platform for journalists across the Caribbean to get more information on 5G technology, including the latest developments in various jurisdictions in the region. We tried to have the OUR, Office of Utility Regulation, on the line this morning. However, we were unable to secure a representative from that entity to be with us today to participate in the program. However, over the past 5 months, there have been developments in the matter of understanding the science of 5G technology, and we do have online this morning to discuss this Chuck Cameron, Mr. Chuck Cameron, privacy practitioner, design privacy, and also an IT expert. We also have online today Dr. Theodora Scarato, Executive Director of Environmental Health Trust USA. Good day, Mr. Cameron, and good day, Dr. Scarato. How are you both?
Thank
Very
you.
good
I'm
morning,
great.
Sir Stokely and Miss Scatato.
Great having you both. Now, first of all, we like to start with definitions, just to make sure everyone understands what we're talking about. The talk is often about 5G. I even understand that there is 6G and even 7G. But in terms of implementation, the next stage is reported to be 5G in countries like Jamaica, for example. Mr. Cameron, would you like to assist the listeners by outlining what is 5G technology and how is it expected to enhance our communications?
So that's really where mobile data is transmitted over a specific spectrum that facilitates high-speed interaction, not only between not only voice communication and video communication between individuals, but it also the utopic view of it is that it would also enable concepts such as the Internet of Things and speak to ushering in this whole question of the metaverse. So it really speaks to the the technology that is used to create the mobile network and the spectrum over which it is broadcast. It is just another broadcasting spectrum that is, well, not broadcasting, but spectrum that facilitates mobile communication.
You know, I like the fact, sir, that you introduced terms such as the metaverse, which I'm familiar with, but many of our listeners may not be familiar with it as yet. And would you like to, for example, indicate why you made reference to the utopic view and what is this matter of the metaverse? Mr. Cameron, I almost called you Dr. Cameron. Maybe that's where you're headed next, sir.
Not at all. Well, it is the concept of high-speed connectivity is what drives and facilitates innovation, and it is next to utopic to think that we will have 5G across the length and breadth of Jamaica, given the nature of the network and the costs associated with building out the network. And when I speak to metaverse, it introduces this literally an alternative digital universe where that within which one exists, and there is a complete economy where you can live, play, earn, and spend as if you are in the real world. And people today are submerged in digital worlds, such as games where you see people sitting down for extensive period of time actually interacting with persons, exchanging value in persons. But the challenge there, those exist in silos and are in specific verticals. We're moving to the stage now where, especially with the facilitation and the growth and proliferation of blockchain, where you can now cut across those silos, and it is one place.
I see. Dr. Scarato, welcome back to the Morning Watch.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Great. We are almost upon a break already, but notwithstanding, if you have any comments to make on anything Mr. Cameron said, please feel free. And of course, what I also want to ask you to comment on, if there are any new developments in 5G globally that you want to enlighten us on. And of course, we know that the remit of Environmental Health Trust includes looking at the other side of things, such as, are there any risks associated with the technology that we need to be aware of? Dr. Scarato?
Thank you. And I would say Environmental Health Trust, I'm executive director of Environmental Health Trust, and we are for fast, safe technology for everyone, affordable broadband, which really is the answer for people who don't have fast connections. What we are raising, and I'm a clinical social worker and I work with many doctors and scientists, but what we are raising is the issue of the health effects of the wireless specifically, because what's happened is we're being told, or there's commercials saying that 5G is going to bring us all these fabulous things. But what we're not told is that it requires, if it's going to all be with these cell towers in front of homes, schools, where we play, where we, are at the park, that will increase the wireless radiation in the area. And it's really not necessary, because what's really needed is hardwired connections, fiber optic connections that are fast into the home so that people have access instead of.
Hold that thought, Dr. Scarato. Not because we don't want to hear, but because we're up on a break. Hold that thought. We'll get back to that just after this break. Stay with us, listeners. We'll be right back on the Morning Walk.
The family station. It's 7:45.
Hello.
Hello?
Goodbye.
Goodbye? What are you doing?
I'm saying hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry.
Oh, I'd like to say that too.
Well, with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider, you can secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness ahead of time and benefit from their investment portfolio too.
Wow. So it's hello peace of mind.
And goodbye worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider. For more information, contact 888-367-5433 or talk to one of our representatives. Guardian Life. Live secure. Live easy.
I am Reverend Dr. George Mulrain.
And I am Bishop Christine Gooden Bengushe.
And we are from the
Jamaica Methodist District. And we have been vaccinated.
For the COVID war that we're in, we will space ourselves well to win. And in love we'll fight cool and clean, armed with masks and with the vaccine. The vaccine's a blessing at least, and it's not the mark of the beast. As a symbol it shows we care for all with whom on this earth we share. For the COVID war that we're in, we will space ourselves well to win. And in love we'll fight cool and clean, armed with mask and with the vaccine.
DIGICEL. First in a class when you have Digicel. School as prime bundle, that's right. With your educational website, make you bright. Head to the top of your class with your first Digicel SIM and a school as prime bundle. Get over 142 gigabytes of data so you can have access to educational sites, social media platforms, Digicel apps, and more for as low as $1,500 for 28 days. Get a school as prime bundle with your first Digicel SIM card. Visit the Digicel store today. DIGICEL.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. We are in the second watch, and we are looking at the whole matter here of 5G technology. What's new with 5G? Our guests for this segment are Mr. Chuck Cameron. He's a privacy practitioner and a design, in terms of design privacy, as well as an IT expert. We also have online Theodora Scarato, Executive Director of the Environmental Health Trust USA. Now, Ms. Scarato, just before the break, you're making a very crucial point in relation to a number of things, to include all the 5G towers that would be within close proximity, in terms of our schools, etc. You're saying it's really not necessary. What we really need are the fiber optics cables, I'm assuming is what you meant. And to my understanding, that's what we already have. So why do you think there might be this intention to switch to having these cell towers, my understanding, the meters apart, for example, on your road, for example, outside of your residence? And why this push to go in this direction? Couldn't we have 5G with some other form of equipment or apparatus that, to your knowledge, would not be as challenging to people's health and lives?
Well, I think if you follow the money, the answers to that will be clear, because I don't understand why there's such push. But I do know that in the United States, the reason that companies are pushing is because they have less regulations. So it ends up being a financial decision that makes sense for companies. But we are most interested in what makes sense for public health because of the science that shows damage to memory, headaches, cancer, oxidative stress, and a variety of impacts to the neurodevelopment of children, as well as the reproductive organs. And we are raising that issue in the United States. And we just won a federal lawsuit here, actually, related to that, because I think with Jamaica and with all over the world, the limits that people have, that countries have for how much of this cell tower radiation is allowed, those were really set 25 years ago and haven't changed for all this time, even though there are so many studies showing harm, and yet these limits, which are 25 years old, continue to be put forward as what is safe. And that is what we are working on, is this issue of safety. And we're calling for proper safety limits based on science and evaluation of the science.
And what are safety limits? What are some of those safety limits that you're thinking of? We're going to bring back Mr. Cameron in a moment, but what are some of those safety limits that you would consider?
Well, here's an example. Just recently, the Environmental Working Group, which is an environmental organization in the United States, evaluated the data from the National Toxicology Program and said that for kids, for children, the limits should be 200 to 400 times lower than what they are, just as an example. And that's only looking at one set of data. So what we are asking for is for independent experts who are not industry tied from US federal agencies to look at the issue and set limits based on an evaluation of the science.
Very interesting. Mr. Cameron, any comments in relation to the safety elements? It's pretty clear that, yes, there's a desire for improved speed and, improved technology. However, there are these safety concerns. Any comments, Cameron?
Yes. While I'm not aware of the safety concerns, and by me saying I'm not aware of the safety,
I hope we haven't lost you, Mr. Cameron. Are you with us, sir? Mr. Cameron?
yes, right. I'm suggest while I'm saying I'm not aware of the safety concerns, is not because they don't exist, it's because I'm just not aware of. However, to suggest I'm not, well, I take issue when we put place fiber connectivity as an alternative for 5G. While connectivity seems to be the common thread, they are fundamentally two different communication technology platforms. And if it is, we believe that access to the internet is what can drive the development of any nation. The thought of fiber reaching every home, or not even every home, the thought of fiber reaching every town in Jamaica is just not economically viable. I'm not saying that 5G is either, but there are two different technologies that one cannot replace each other. If we are speaking about, I'm concerned with remote access, persons that live in villages off the beaten track. What is a better replacement technology that is available today is satellite internet, but certainly it is not reasonable to suggest that fiber is a good replacement for 5G.
And can you assist the listeners, Mr. Cameron, by indicating the distinction, if any, between satellite internet and internet with the use of 5G?
So satellite internet is where you have a satellite in space serving internet, so that nearly operates as fiber to the home, because you just like how people used to have those big dishes in a day and receive their TV, satellite TV, and now you have the small dishes from direct TV. It's the same way you can receive internet from a satellite in space. So that is akin to fiber to the home. And we also want to consider the whole concept of Wi-Fi, because what is the magic? It's mobility. So if it is persons, and that's the impact we have seen with the mobile phone. So it is, how do you access high-speed internet while being mobile? And the only time fiber can assist us to do that is when it's then connected to a Wi-Fi network, where persons can then use that mobile device to access that high speed network. But at the end of the day, that doesn't help. That's not cost effective or not even feasible in rural communities. So a reasonable alternative, to my mind, would be internet satellite.
Interesting. You said that, Mr. Cameron. Maybe we need a part 2, but we are almost out of time already. Theodora Scarato, Mr. Cameron did indicate that he can't comment on the health challenges or the health issues that could arise. However, this is something which is certainly under your watch, and you have raised some of these issues from your own forum. What has the reaction been from industry players from where you sit? I know that you're not here in Jamaica, but speaking globally, or certainly in your neck of the woods, what has been the reaction of industry?
Well, industry just states that there is no problem. But when you look at the science, there was just a major 3-part study done by experts, including our U.S. Fish and Wildlife lead biologist, talking about not humans, not just humans, because we have research that impacts humans, but birds, bees, trees. It's a 3-part review, major paper stating that it is urgent that there be regulations triggered to protect the airspace, which is habitat for birds. And you think about increasing all of these cell towers will increase radiation, which will impact, the wildlife. None of this is being thought of. I mean, industry is making decisions that's best for them, for the bottom line, for what makes sense for money. But we need to think about how to protect people and the environment with whatever technology we move forward. And that is what the work that we do at Environmental Health Trust.
I see. If I heard you correctly, you made reference to issues of cancer, and you made reference to another condition which would seem to affect breathing. Do you want to comment on that?
Breathing?
Yes.
Actually, I think I said oxidative stress. Yeah, so oxidative stress it's a hallmark of cancer, and it is a situation where sustained over time can lead to a myriad of other effects because you're not as resilient. So if you have a certain health issue and you're under continuously having more oxidative stress from your environment, you won't be as able to handle the condition that you have. Oxidative stress, I could simplify it by saying it stresses out your body. It's like you want to decrease your stress when you have diabetes or asthma or all of these health issues. And we don't want to have a situation where we're always under increased oxidative stress. And the majority of studies that have looked at that have found that is an effect found in the research that's been reviewed, if that makes sense.
Well, we thank you for your comments, madam. What next, if anything? You've been making these concerns heard, and you did make mention about federal suit in the United States of America. What next, if anything, for the Environmental Health Trust in terms of these matters?
We're calling for an environmental review of the 5G network. We have top experts in the country and in the world asking our government for a complete environmental review to ensure that the public and the environment are protected, especially birds, bees, and trees. And that is what we're requesting right now. And what I think every government should be requesting is, where's the environmental review, and how do you know what a safe level for trees are? Because there's research showing damage to trees from wireless radiation.
Very interesting. I wish we had a little bit more time. I think we're totally out of time. I'm getting a signal. I want to thank Mr. Cameron and Ms. Scarato for being with us in this second watch. Thank you for your time and thank you for your thoughts, both of you, sir and madam.
Thanks, yes, sir.
Thank you, our listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow to look at other topical and controversial issues. And for information or to get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-95967. The Morning Watch is on our Love 101 app. Download it today and stay connected to the family station. Love 101 FM, the #1 gospel station in Jamaica. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Kathy Gale, and to our guests. I am Stokely Marsh, handing it back to Love in the Morning with Siobhan Blair.
Brought to you by Home and Things, your construction finishes superstore. And once again, let me apologize for the break in transmission early in the program. We do apologize. This is Love 101.